In 1981, there were only 3 TV channels to choose from. The most popular in the UK was the BBC. That was where you could catch Only Fools and Horses. It was an entertaining sitcom about a family of shady but lovable businessmen trying to climb their way to the top. Keep watching to learn about juicy Only Fools and Horses secrets that producers hid from fans. It almost never happened. Show creator John Sullivan's first series, Citizen Smith, ended in 1980. He went on to pitch a second series, Over the Moon, that followed a run-down soccer team. Let's just say it never reached the heights of the American series, Ted Lasso. He went to the Three Kings pub to drown his sorrows with another producer friend, Ray Butt. That's when he came up with another series that followed a Cockney market trader in 1980s London. It became Only Fools and Horses. Inspirations. Almost everything in the show was inspired by an aspect of John's life. This started with the characters. He modeled Rodney after himself. He made him a dreamer and an idealist. He only got 2 exam passes, which his older brother was proud of. That older brother, Del, was inspired by unlicensed traders who sold goods in markets near his home. When David Jason got the part, John came up with the design, including the camel hair coat, beer belly, dyed and blow-dried hair, tight trousers, and oversized jewelry. He modeled John after a man he knew named Chicky Stalker, who was kind but, quote, wasn't the sort of bloke you'd go out of your way to annoy. Rodney Totter was modeled after his actual older sibling. Jim Sullivan was modeled after an old school teacher named Jim Trowers. He remembered the way he would bring stories to life in English class and ignited Jim's love of writing. Casting. The first member to be cast was Nicholas Lyndhurst as Rodney. He was only 19 at the time. Finding an actor to play Del was a struggle. Jim Broadbent and N. Reitel were the first to be considered, but had too full of a schedule. Producer Ray Butt wanted David Jason from Open All Hours, but the network and show creator didn't think he was right for it. He got the role anyway, late in pre-production. Ray saw Roger Lloyd Park in the audience of a play and hired him to play Trigger. Jim Broadbent became Derek Trotter, and it made him a household name even though he only appeared in 3 episodes. John was looking for an actor to play Granddad who resembled Albert Steptoe on the 60s sitcom Steptoe and Son. He wanted a different actor though and chose Leonard Pierce immediately. Leonard then tragically died at age 69 on December 15, 1984. The showrunners thought about writing him off, but decided the show needed a main trio. They replaced him with a new character named Uncle Albert, played by 64-year-old Buster Merrifield. He'd been working as a bank manager for 40 years and had no acting experience. He was nervous and made mistakes, but they worked it into the show's humor and his catchphrase during the war. The cast was almost entirely male until the Christmas special dates. James wrote an episode where Del signs up for a dating agency and goes out with an actress named Raquel Turner. She was played by Tessa Peake Jones. She was meant to only stay around for 1 episode, but reappeared a year later in the episode The Jolly Boys Outing. She then became a major cast member after moving in with Del and having a son named Damien with him. Gwenthy Strong won the role of Cassandra against other actresses like Liz Hurley. It wasn't the best casting choice because it was difficult to see her as 21 when she married Rodney. David Jason almost left the show in 1986. His character would have left for Australia in the final episode of Series 5, with all the original cast continuing without him. Instead, the show went on as usual. Guest stars. Only Fools and Horses had many guest stars that became major names. They include Barry Gibb, Aled Jones, Jason Sims, David Thewlis, and John Brandon. David Beckham appeared in a special episode written for BBC's Sport Relief charity broadcast in 2014. John Sullivan's sons, Jim and Dan, wrote the unusual story. David's character tries to help the Trotters sell Golden Balls underpants that he endorses and helps the family pose in. Roger Lloyd Pack was also meant to appear as Trigger, but he was ill and died a few days later. The original name. The first script for the show had it titled Reddies. It was a nod to American vaudeville theater. Reddies was a slang word for money. John also considered the name Big Brother, which ended up being the title of the first episode. He decided on Only Fools and Horses instead. It's a lesser-known phrase. Only Fools and Horses work for a living. It was also an episode title in his previous sitcom, Citizen Smith. The theme song and opening credits. The first episode and series of Only Fools and Horses had an instrumental theme song. The problem was it didn't clearly explain the origin of the title, and so John wasn't a fan. Chaz Hodges and Dave Peacock were meant to sing the later version, but they weren't available. John wrote and sang the opening and closing theme songs instead. Video releases and reruns included. The graphics for the opening titles were updated 3 times during the run. They were designed by Peter Clayton and animated by Brian Stevens. The second version came for the Christmas special Christmas Crackers. The third included Uncle Albert in the mix when they introduced the cast. Rare episodes. The BBC aired all 7 series of the show, and John Sullivan wrote all of them, as well as the spin-off The Green Green Grass and Rockin' Chips. Most episodes are easy to find, but there are a few sketches and skits that are a bit rare. There's the 1982 sketch Christmas Trees, the Abbey National Bank advert from 1984, the spoof documentary White Mice from December of '85, the educational episode License to Drill, the 5-minute message to the troops in the Persian Gulf War from 1990, the comic relief special from '97, and the David Beckham episode. Connection to the royal family. Not every British show gets a nod from the royal family, but Only Fools and Horses was lucky enough to earn this distinction. They regularly requested advanced copies and never sent them back. Nicholas considered that a note of approval. David Jason was also knighted in 2005. Nicholas couldn't attend the after-party, but John Sullivan did. He saw David use the already momentous occasion to also announce his second wedding, and everyone applauded. Real names. Many characters get known by nicknames in shows, and Only Fools and Horses has several. In the Big Brother episode, Rodney worries that Trigger is called that because he carries a gun. The truth is, he resembles a horse. You'd think the only character other than Del and Rodney to appear in the first and last episode would have his true name revealed eventually. It's also a running gag that he pronounces Rodney's name wrong. Well, Trigger's real name is Colin Bell. It's found in cast listings and revealed in the spin-off prequel Rockin' Chips. If you pay attention, you can also find out that Boyce's name is Herman Terence Aubrey Boyce, and Grandad is Edward Kitchener Trotter. Becoming the highest-rated British comedy. The first episode aired on BBC One at 8:30 p.m. on September 8, 1981. It brought in 9.2 million viewers. Numbers started to decline after that, with an average of 8 million for the first 2 series. BBC wanted to dump it, but by the 4th series it was drawing in over 10 million viewers. It maintains its record as the highest-rated British comedy in history. Over 24.3 million viewers watched the episode Time on Our Side on Christmas of 1996. David Jason said it was difficult to, quote, get it around your head how popular this show had grown to be. It allowed leverage when John Sullivan requested a longer time slot and a 40% budget increase for Series 6. It was the highest rated in the show's run and made it the most popular show on the BBC. An ending for Christmas. Only Fools and Horses was known for its Christmas specials, and it essentially went out on one. It continued until '96, and then from 2001 to 2003, but the last real episode was 3 Men, a Woman, and a Baby in 1991. Most fans feel that the 1996 Christmas episode, the one that holds the record, is where it should have ended. David Jason said the show's ending was difficult to deal with. He also said John Sullivan's death came too soon, and he was devastated by the loss. Worldwide impact. Only Fools and Horses now airs worldwide. It's shown in Israel, Malta, Pakistan, New Zealand, Greece, the Netherlands, and more. John Sullivan's son Jim completed a script for an Only Fools and Horses musical that went on the West End in February of 2019. The show even appeared as part of the 2012 Olympic Games. A yellow Reliant Regal and characters dressed as Batman and Robin came on stage in reference to the episode Heroes and Villains. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite episode of Only Fools and Horses? Let us know in the comments section below.